Howdy, folks. What's going on? It's y'all. I'll have to back at you one more time. Hey, guys, how are you? This is the last show of the year. Wow. And here we are. I do hope that this show does well tonight. I'm sending a few links. We'll see who shows up. I don't have any guests really planned for tonight, so we're just going to run it and see what happens. We have absolutely zero watching, it looks like, at the moment. So I'm not even sure if I can be heard. So if anybody happens to show up, let me know if you can hear me. But yeah, man, this has been a long year. Somebody's out there watching. I got one viewer at this moment, so not sure who it is. Say hello, let's just let me know. But yeah, this has been a long year, and I'm not going to say that I'm sorry to see this particular year go. It's been a rough one, man. You know, I've watched this year as some of the folks that I grew up watching on television and roboting. Okay, well, let me see if I can fix the problem. Uh, okay, is that better or worse? Can you hear me all? I don't know, but I got a solution. Uh, I don't know why it does that, but it does. So hopefully I can fix it. Okay, well, let's see if this thing works. More settings. Um, let's see. I am hoping this. Okay, can you hear me now? Connecting. Yeah, I think I am. Can you hear me now, man? Well, there's nobody watching, so I don't know. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if this thing actually works now. Can you hear me? And am I roboting? Hopefully, I've got it worked out. It's always something on this program. I don't understand it. I've got gremlins somewhere. Thank you, man. Um. Anyway, what I was saying was this has been a long year for everybody. This will be the last show of the year. Uh, And like I said earlier, when I was roboting, apparently, I do hope that Howdy Guns and Barbecue, Mad Sexy, I see you out there. Somebody else was out there a little while ago. Alaska 556, Two Live New. Teresa's out there. So, hey, I appreciate each and every one of you. And guys, I am going to throw the link out for anybody that would like to jump in, say hi. Uh, so we'll get that taken care of early on. So anybody that wants to jump in can jump in. Um, but I'm not going to be sad to see 2020 go. I have seen a lot of people that I grew up listening to on the radio, watching on television, um, pass away this year. So it's been a bad year. So hopefully next year will be a whole lot better. We shall see. Somebody's wanting to jump in here. Guns and Barbecue. Welcome, sir.
Doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm gonna say, so you are roboting like crazy over on the YouTube side, but when I get in here, you're perfectly fine.
I don't understand it, Bubba. I do not understand it.
I
If
think it's
if I'm
something between StreamYard and YouTube.
I think it might be the headset I was using because I changed the headset and it seems to be working fine. I don't understand it, but so how's things going with you?
Not too bad. As I say, I got some frozen pipes at the moment, trying to get those to thaw out, hopefully.
Um, the best way I found to do that, if you want it done in a hurry, a hair dryer. Climb under there with a hair dryer, start heating the pipe up.
Yeah, let's say I had a torpedo heater that I'd always use when that would happen. Didn't have to worry about it all last year, luckily, but the year before that, my now ex fiance, she decided to leave the torpedo heater out in the elements for a year. So when I moved back to the trailer after she decided to do whatever the heck she did, I'm going around and cleaning up all the messes that she left, and I find my torpedo heater just sitting out in the elements. I was like, that's cute, and
Mm-hmm.
I never bothered to even see if it worked because I was like, not worried about it right now. I got other stuff to worry about. Well, I forgot to worry about it later and ended up needing it yesterday. I was like, son of a gun.
We've all been there.
Yep.
You got an echo, Bubba. I think we're getting reverb from your YouTube that you got running. But yeah, that's the. I remember as a kid in West Virginia, we'd get frozen pipes, or my friends would get frozen pipes, and if they had galvanized pipe, it was simple. Galvanized pipe is really simple to fix when the water freezes inside them. You just get you a propane torch, heat them up for a couple of seconds. It breaks it up and move on. You know, PVC is a bit more tricky. Or CPVC. With that, the hair dryer is the best thing to use, or just drop hot buckets of hot water on the pipe. Hopefully, they'll heat them up enough to melt that ice and keep going. But I feel your pain, brother.
Yep. Yep. Let's say it normally happens about once a year. Uh, I mean, since I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have to worry about it last year just because I know when it's going to get down to whatever temperature I need to start dripping the faucets or whatnot, and I'll be good.
Yeah.
But this happened over uh, Christmas Day. The ex asked me to go over that way, the kids could just have Christmas, as a family and all that. I was like, yeah, that's no problem. And then the weather went to crap, and she's like, "You care, about sleeping on my couch tonight? I really don't want to take you back uh, right now." I was like, "That's fine." Well, it got cold that night, and that's all she wrote. I was like, "Son of a gun."
Yep. Been there, done that, boy. It ain't fun.
Yep.
Um, Hopefully nothing burst. I have seen pipes get frozen burst. So
Yeah, knock
that
on
norm
wood. I'm hoping not. Uh,
that normally happens with copper lines.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Everything underneath my trailer is all PVC. So,
Okay.
um, in the oh shoot, 7 years I've been here now, 6 years. I only ever had one crack, and that was a nice easy fix, anyways. But other than that, been pretty fortunate.
Ooh, man, that is not good, brother man. Yeah, folks, I'm gonna tell you something. Especially if you're living in colder climates, those little sleeves that you could put over your water pipes, or some kind of pipe insulation, pipe insulator. I'm not really sure what they're called, but they do work. I mean, they're not going to stop it from freezing if it's 19 degrees, but you know, as long as it ain't absolutely frigid, they do help. And the great thing about them, if your pipes do freeze, you can just go ahead and take those things right off, heat the pipes up, put them back on. Make sure you turn your water on in the house while you're unfreezing those pipes because you don't want anything blowing out upstairs in the process.
Yep. And say, and heck, I always had the water on just for the simple fact that once the water started flowing, I knew I didn't have to have the torpedo heater running or anything after that.
Yeah.
Also, I've known people that have used space heaters in the past to unfreeze their pipes, which I suppose that'll
Yeah.
work, but it's a dangerous way to do it. A couple of years ago, one of my neighbors burnt their trailer to the ground doing it that way. Space heater caught fire, and their trailer just went up.
Well, see, that's the thing about a mobile home or trailer, either one,
Yep, yep,
is they're very thin, and it does not take a whole lot to get them going once they start. Um, that's one thing you got to be extremely careful with. Um, well, man, I hope everything works out for you there, and hopefully that'll be the last time this year you'll have to worry about such an issue.
yeah. I'm hoping so. Luckily, it's supposed to get warm all this week too. Supposed to be up in the 40s tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, and I think New Year's Day it's supposed to be in the 50s. So, uh,
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't too bad here today.
no,
Wasn't too bad at all. No, it was nice. The last few days it's been close to freezing, but um, during it after dark, it cooled down a little bit. It did get below freezing, but today it warmed up to I'd say mid 60s, so it wasn't bad.
oh heck yeah, that's not bad at all. I'm say that's
But
weather to go out in shorts and tank tops.
yeah, not where I'm from, but 60 degrees is cold.
Say you darn Southerners.
Well, you got to remember, I was born and raised in West Virginia. I know all about cold weather,
Say
real cold weather.
I'm 30 minutes south of Lake Erie. You run right up I-79,
Yep.
and I'm 2 miles off 79 there.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I can never get myself up to Michigan, you're gonna take me fishing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I could do with some Lake Erie walleye.
I say it's some good stuff.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
my ex-father-in-law, he's got a buddy that called him up last year. He was telling me and said, "Hey, you want to go fishing?" He's like, "Oh, well, I got to work tonight." He's like, "I got a new boat." He's like, "Yep, see you later. I'll be there in half hour." And
Yep.
they went out and they were just slamming walleye out on the lake.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about this before. When I was a kid, my mom and dad would go up to Michigan about twice a year because I had an aunt and uncle that lived up there. And we'd go out on the lake and fish. He had some boats. And man, I had a blast.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back up there to fish in probably 25 years.
Oh wow.
I guess the last time I was in Michigan was to fish. I was probably 14, 15, maybe.
Let's say I'm from PA, right, Ellis?
Nope, I didn't.
Yep.
Pennsylvania boy.
Yep.
It's okay. We ain't gonna hold that against you.
That's why I said if you run straight up I-79, I'm gonna
Yep.
say you'll hit me eventually.
Yeah, you know a little bit about cold weather, I'd say. Mad Sexy says he's from California. It ain't supposed to get cold out there. Mad Sexy? Now I'm not an expert on California, but if I ain't mistaken, they got some world class skiing in California. So if you got snow, you got to have cold weather, brother. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say it just depends on which part of California you're from.
Yeah. Not supposed to snow in California. If you're in Northern California where it snows, you do.
Especially when you get up in the mountains.
Well, I guess Mom was getting older. Dad died when I was 9, so that's put a halt in everything. And after that, it's just Uncle Bud died in a boating accident. So it is what it is, man. In the hills, not in the valley. Well, Mad, then you get out of the valley. It's a real simple thing. I got a better idea for you, man. Instead of just getting out of the valley in California, just get out of California. Can I get an amen? Thank you, folks.
Let's say where Hatfield's from, they don't call them valleys, they call them hollers.
Well, hollers, valleys, little dip in the mountain, whatever. Just pack your stuff up. And look here, from California, you've got several different destinations to choose from. I mean, you can go to New Mexico. They're quite gun friendly. You can go east, get into Texas. So Nevada ain't too bad. Just get on out of the state of California. You'll be fine. Hell, move to South Carolina. We'd love to have you.
I always
Just,
hear Arizona's a dang good one to go for gun rights.
oh yeah. California is not one of the friendliest states for gun folks. You gonna give me a job, place to say disability, don't pay much. I might be able to work something out with somebody for you. Now I ain't gonna say what you'll be doing, but I promise you that it'll pay decent. Just make sure you got a really good car. I know a few folks up in the hills that put you to work doing something. But like I said, I ain't gonna say what.
Might want to get an extra fuel tank for that car.
Yeah. And probably a turbocharger. Just don't ask what they put in the back and keep driving. And when it starts to get unloaded, don't get out and look.
Ignorance is bliss in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're lucky, they'll give you a jar or two to sip on when you get home. And if nothing else, you can run the car off what they give you.
Don't do the sipping while you're driving.
No, that would be bad. This ain't Jack Daniel's bourbon we're talking about. You might get a few drinks of Jack Daniels, and you might get one of the stuff, maybe. But car is laughable. Come on, Mad. So let me ask you a question, Guns. What are your plans for next year? What do you hope happens next year? What would you like to see?
Just personal or Second Amendment wise, or
Well, we'll start with the Second Amendment. What would you like to see go on there?
well, this year is supposed to be the year of the rally. I think there's supposed to be 20 some rallies that were supposed to happen this year. And majority of those got canceled because of the whole Corona thing. I think that they're going to be as important as ever this year, coming, with the way it's looking with Biden and Harris taking office. So I think, uh, those rallies could be rescheduled and uh, take place without a bunch of this restriction BS that's been happening. I think that would be a huge plus. Um, I would like to get more involved with the rallies and helping promote them and stuff. I know for myself, before I really got into the YouTube gun community, I had no idea that Second Amendment rallies were a thing. And I think that's part of the issue with turnout for them is people just don't know. They're not real in tune with 2A. They don't realize that there's this movement, things like that. So I need to get myself a computer and a printer. And whenever I find out about different rallies that are happening, I want to make up flyers for said rally, uh, call gun shops that are going to be in that area and say, hey, I want to send you half a dozen flyers to hang in your shop and around your local community. Try and see if that bolsters attendance at the things at all. And I can't take full credit on coming up with that idea. G-Webs helped me along the way with that one. One night we were talking after Daily Gun Show. But having the limited vision that I do, I can't drive. So actually going to rallies isn't something that I can readily do because I got to find a ride to it. So I think this would be the next best way for me to try and help and whatnot.
And what will tell you, man, getting people involved in gun rallies is not the easiest thing in the world. It really ain't. Me and Night Strike back 2 years ago, when we were organized trying to get the one here in South Carolina organized, there was 10 people showed up tops. And it was disheartening. It really was. I don't think the people that buy guns really pay attention to what's going on in the world, in the United States when it comes to gun laws. They come in and they buy them, but they don't pay attention to the news. They don't pay attention to the politics. They don't pay attention to other things. It's like they're oblivious to what's going on. And
Yep.
when you try to talk to them about, hey, do you realize that you can buy this right now, but a month from now you may not be able to? They look at you like they're, like you just slapped them in the face. What are you talking about?
That, or you got the people that they buy a gun, and I haven't noticed any of this paperwork recently when I've bought a new firearm, but I remember a few years back, every gun I was buying came with a friggin' thing in it saying, join the NRA. So you got
Yep.
these people that are thinking, oh, I'll join the NRA, I'll throw in my $30 a year, and that takes care of whatever the heck's going on, and I'm going to be
Yeah.
safe. And that's not the case. Like you
No.
said, getting people motivated and whatnot, that's tough. And like I said, that's what I'm kind of hoping is just awareness. I think that's one of the big issues is awareness. People don't know what's going on, and out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
Um, so if I can, and that's another thing that I noticed recently. We had House Bill 1747 and House Bill 2440 here in PA. And as soon as I heard about those, I started to go into my local gun shops. Well, first I made a video about them. Then I went to my local gun shop, said, "Hey, I made this video. You know, if you guys don't want to share my video, that's fine. I'm not looking for free publicity." I was like, "But I would hope that you guys at least talk about these bills because they directly impacted the gun shops, and not a single one had any interest in any of it." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." The one bill um, took away powers from the governor to uh, impose restrictions on the Second Amendment, like when he declares like a state of emergency and things like that. And the other one would make all uh, anything regarding uh, the Second Amendment's considered essential. So your local gun shops, ranges, ammo suppliers, manufacturers, the whole 9 yards in the state of Pennsylvania would be considered essential and wouldn't be able to get shut down. And none of them wanted to really say anything. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. If the governor tomorrow says, hey, we're shutting you down again and we're not going to let you open up until we get sued again, well, guess what? You're shut down. And you don't want to back a bill that's going to prevent that.
Well, see, here's the thing. The people you were talking to were probably the employees that, you know,
Well, no, I'm familiar with the owners and stuff, and they just for whatever reason, uh, because and the ones where I know if I was talking to the employees, I would say, hey, when's the owner coming in and stuff like that, or I say, hey, can you leave them a number, have them give me a call, things like that, and they just
nothing.
the ones that did call and talk to me or that did talk to me, they just, they didn't want to get involved in the political aspect. I'm like, how not? Being gun shop, you kind of have to be involved in the politics of it, or else, bad shit's going to happen that's going to affect your livelihood.
It'll get them shut down. And, you know, on one hand, I get it. I really do get it, man. Because once you say, okay, I'm on board with this, then that makes you a standout target for, you know, whoever may be out there that's against you owning your gun shop or selling guns. I get that. It's like putting a big target on your head and saying, shoot here. But at the same time, how are you going to stand idly by and not support the industry that's and the way of life, more importantly, that puts food in your family's mouth? It makes zero sense, but I understand why it happens.
100%. And like one of the things that one of the owners had presented to me was, well, why would I get behind that? It's just going to get vetoed by the governor anyways. I'm like, well, that's great if it gets vetoed by the governor, but at least we made the attempt. And it eventually it did get vetoed by the governor because it ended up making it through the Senate, which it almost didn't because they almost didn't take it up for vote. They only had a couple days left of session, and then they finally took it up for vote. But as soon as it hit the governor's desk, he vetoed both of them, which was expected. But Nonetheless, we can sit there and say, hey, these were put through, they were voted on, and this party wanted to play the political game instead of actually looking and saying, you know what, these are what they are and they're good bills. So
Man, I look at people inside, especially, while you're talking about local gun shops, and I wonder, you know, if you don't have a corporate entity behind you, backing you, I can understand how that would be intimidating. I mean, but those guys with a big corporate entities, what I'm talking about, I'm sure they're already involved. Everybody knows about them. Everybody's, got them on their sites already. It's these little guys that need to step up and say, because there's more of them than there are the big guys. They're the ones that need to step up and say, this is our livelihood you're trying to snap out. You know?
Yep.
And every firearm, every piece of ammunition, every accessory that goes on a gun helps feed somebody's family. And not just one person. That it goes from the person who's made the molds all the way up to the person at the retail store selling it. Everybody's getting a piece of that dime. And everybody's kids is getting fed because of it. If they take away one part, one piece, they stop allowing one piece or one part being made, somebody's going to go hungry because that's a paycheck gone. People don't think about that though. They don't want to get down to that brass tacks and say, well, who's this really affecting? Just the people. It's not just the people that wants to buy these things. It's the people that makes them. Back a few years ago when they were talking about the bump stocks, that was the big thing. Well, we're going to ban the bump stocks. How many people did that bump stock ban put out of work? How many people went hungry because of it? And that's then nobody thinks about that part. Never mind the fact that it's against the Second Amendment, against the Constitution to ban these items because they're an accessory to a firearm. We've got a right, as far as I know, to own firearms, and therefore should have the right to accessorize those firearms. But, in my mind, the Second Amendment is simply this: I should have the right to buy anything that I decide I want to buy, whether it be a 6-shot Smith & Wesson revolver or an A-10 Warthog airplane fully loaded. If I've got the money to afford it, I should be able to own it in this country because I have a Second Amendment that says so.
100%.
The only thing that should stop me from being able to buy whatever I want is how deep my pockets are. But, that's just me. That's just the way I feel. The Outlaw Hatfield, when you fire a rifle 308 or bigger, what would you rather have? A crown barrel, muzzle brake, or a compensator? Crown barrel. Yes. Why pay the extra money, man? Unless you, I don't do long range target shooting. I'm not after extreme accuracy. I want to shoot a deer in the head and kill it. I don't need to be able to put 3 rounds in a bullseye at 800 yards to do that. I need to put 1 round right down the side of his head or the back of his head at maybe 50 yards. If you want to buy those things, I go right ahead. I just personally don't see the sense. Um, I will never be in a situation where I will have a need to shoot anything that would require that much accuracy. You know, as long as I can put 3 rounds in an area that big at 100 yards with a hunting rifle, I'm happy with it. You know, and most everything I've got, I can do that with. You know, so now I tell you what I do think would be kind of cool to have would be a suppressor. But I refuse to buy one of those simply because I don't feel that I should have to pay a $200 tax stamp on something that is a right. So I don't buy those either. And speaking of muzzle brakes, compensators, crown barrels, all that, it could get to the point where those things are also taxed. You know, you want to have a muzzle brake on your AR-15, you got to pay $200. Why? Simply because they said so. As stupid as that is.
Yeah, that's one of the arguments I was getting into with people when they were going after bump stocks was with the way they had worded some things. It, for example, standard rate of fire. Well, what the hell is a standard rate of fire? Unless you're talking about something that's fully automatic, there's no such thing because are we measuring off a Hatfield's finger? We are measuring off a barbecue's finger. We measuring off a Jerry Michelik's finger. You are measuring off a grandma. You know, there's no standard rate of fire with a semi-automatic or anything like that. And I was telling people, they're saying anything that increases the rate of standard rate of fire. Well, they could just as easily say, well, having that pistol grip on your AR increases the standard rate of fire. You got to put a regular stock on it. Having that forward
Dude,
grip on it increases the standard rate of fire. You got to put a stock on it, or you got to take that off. Well, no more binary triggers. No more this, no more that. Well, that um scope that you have on there increases your rate of fire because it allows you to get back on target quicker, allowing for quicker follow up shots. And I was like,
yep.
that's how ridiculous it could get. I was like, so you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I don't care about bump stocks. They don't mean nothing to me." Well, they don't mean nothing to me either. But I'm not dumb enough to sit there and say that they aren't important because they are. And with the way they're making the rulings on this crap, uh, it's very arbitrary, and people just didn't care.
Well, that and you have to remember there are certain groups out there. I'm not going to name names. Who will say, okay, yes, we will allow you to outlaw the bump stocks as long as we keep this, 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 and this.
Yep.
That's a
Okay, that was another
compromise,
issue.
folks. That's a compromise. I do not believe in compromise with the Second Amendment. I do not believe in compromise with the First Amendment or any of the other amendments. They are what they are. They say what they say. They mean what they say. How hard is it just to follow that? It's not. You just have to do it. The problem is, as long as we have a First Amendment to protect the Second Amendment and a Second Amendment to protect the First Amendment and those two amendments to protect all the rest, they cannot take complete control over us. If they get rid of the second, they can get rid of the first. If they can get rid of the first, they can get rid of the rest. And we're right there where they have wanted us to be for the last 70 years. Welcome to the socialist United States, people. We will be communist and socialist. We will go where we're told and we will do what we're told, and that's just going to be the bottom line. That is not the America I want to live in. So says me. What the hell do I know? Um, Oh, you mean the not really active? Yeah, those the not really active. Um, I would love. Think about this. Think about this for just a second. Let it sink in. There are more new gun owners this year than there has been in the last probably 5, 6, 7 years combined. That's millions of new gun owners. First time gun owners, some of them in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Some of them, most new gun owners are gun owners that just turned 18, 19 over the past few years. This year, it's a different demographic. They're older and they're scared. So let's say we take all these new gun owners, old and new like, and we start teaching them about the Second Amendment from day one and let them know how important it is. You're scared now. How bad would it be if you weren't allowed to come in here and buy this gun to protect yourself? You know, you go to your gun shop and you buy this gun. Well, if certain laws would have been in place 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't be allowed to come in here. You wouldn't be allowed to pick up this gun. You wouldn't be allowed to buy this gun. Then you'd be not only afraid, but you'd be afraid, unarmed, and helpless, and at the mercy of whether or not the police can get there in time to save your life if they need to, or if you need them to. Kind of scary to think about it, ain't it? And that's what we've got to get inside these people's head. Yes, right now you can come buy the gun. If things keep going the way they're going, in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, you may not ever be able to buy one again if we don't do something now to put a curb to what they're doing. We got to stop it, and we have to stop it now. You know, um, and believe me, that's the big agenda that they've had for years. As long as we've got the firearms, they can't really shut us completely down. But for every firearm law that's passed, whether it be a bump stock ban or a binary trigger or something else, a pistol brace. That's the big thing now, pistol braces. Every one of these laws that pass gets them one step closer to their ultimate goal, which is the United States citizens being unarmed, disarmed, so we are no threat to them when they start implementing laws that completely and totally go against the Constitution. Or worse yet, throwing the Constitution out completely because, it's just an old piece of paper and it don't mean nothing anymore. That's the way they look at this. And again, once again, I say that's just the opinion of an old West Virginian who don't know a whole lot about the world. I do see certain things, though. What do you think, Guns?
I think you're hitting the nail on the head that a lot of people see the Constitution as just an old piece of paper. I've heard the argument from the other side many times that the Constitution is outdated, and they'll sit there and say, our founding fathers had no idea that the kind of weaponry that people would have access to today. And like, yeah, they did. The whole reason they wrote the Second Amendment the way they did was so whatever the government had, we could have. I was like, but
Exactly.
we don't even get that. I was like, but if you're gonna sit there and say, they had no idea, they couldn't have foreseen that these types of arms would be made. Well, it's not like they would have foreseen, modern media like we have. They wouldn't have foreseen social media, so apparently none of that counts into the First Amendment. And then all of a sudden they start backtracking. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. It's a two-way street. If you're saying that this amendment uh, is old and out of date because it couldn't have been foreseen, well, all these things couldn't have been foreseen either, and then they don't count. And I know it gets people's wheels turning, but it's one of those things where you get a wild animal cornered, and all it has to do after that is lash out. That's what happens when I do have those conversations. Is once you get the person cornered like that, then they start lashing out. They start cursing at you and calling you a bunch of names, and you're a bigot or a racist or whatever the heck it is. And uh, at that point, conversation's over. You've won.
No,
But really, what did you win?
nothing. And that's the thing. Uh, you win, but you lose because people that are that far gone, you'll never be able to convince that they're wrong. And I don't think it's so much as getting them to admit they're wrong, because on some level they have to say, you know, he does make a pretty good point. Uh, it's their pride. Their pride will not allow them to say, "Okay, you're right,"
100%.
and then
Yep.
and then it's pure principle that keeps them on that road to, well, you still don't need a gun.
And
So,
say
so
that's on both
some of
sides.
some of the absolute greatest things I have ever heard has always been people who say the only people who need guns are military and police. And I said, so Nazi Germany? As far as I know, back then, the only people that had guns in Germany was the military and police.
But
Look how
Howdy,
that
that's
turned out.
different. That's different, right?
Oh, explain to me, sir. How is this different?
Oh no, that's
And
just what I hear.
I'm being facetious. Of course, I'm being facetious. How is this different? Uh, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. I will never understand the workings of the liberal mind ever. Hey, G Webs, how are you, sir? G Webs, if you will check your email, I did send you a link. So if you would like to jump in, you're more than welcome. I did post a link out in the chat if you'd like to jump in here. So again, feel free. Anybody else that'd like to jump in, I have posted links out in the chat. Mad Sexy, you're more than welcome. Or anybody else out there that's maybe listening, feel free to come in and say hi. Um, we started this night off talking about the new year, how things might be a little better. Boy, this went down a different hole altogether for some
It sure
reason.
did. We went way off.
Hey, that's fine. I don't care. Like I said in the heading tonight, I didn't have anything planned for tonight. I just wanted to talk and have fun. So far, I've had fun, so I'm happy. So, um, but let's try to get back on topic a little bit. Um, in the way of pro two-way, what would you like to see happen next year
Well,
without the negativity?
the end goal is always, repeal the NFA. Is that going to happen
Absolutely.
next year? I don't think so. But what would be great to see is the wheel set in motion to do so. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
G Webs is out there, and you know, out of everybody that I hear talking about this stuff, they're worried about pistol braces and all this. G Webs is one of the few that's sitting there saying, "Hey, isn't this a great time to, uh, go after the NFA, not just worry about pistol braces or something like that. And I think he's got a great point, especially now that we responded in the way that we did. We've got statistics and crime data and everything else on our side as well. To sit there and say, hey, a lot of these things that are NFA and whatnot, it's all BS. There's nothing to support limiting these things. While we got them on the ropes, let's go after the kill shot.
Yep. Alaska 556 says not to be negative, but there will be not one positive thing happen in 2A world if Democrats take the Senate. Well, we shall see where that goes. Be positive, Bubba. You got to stay positive. Things do happen. Miracles do occur. But you was talking about G-Webs there, guns.
Yep.
G-Webs has always been the big picture guy. That's why I love G-Webs. While everybody else is focusing on one aspect or another, he's focusing more on the big picture. He always has. And he has a way of intertwining it to where it makes sense. I have listened to G Webs for a very long time. I've had him on my program several times. Hope to have him back several more. For anybody that is in the gun community, I would highly recommend you spend 15 minutes talking to G Webs. Just 15 minutes, one on one. Facebook, whatever. Talk to G Webs. You will be more enlightened when you're finished. I will guarantee it. The man is a genius when it comes to this stuff. He has this way of, like I said, interconnecting things and letting you see things in a different way. I don't know how his mind works, but I love him for it. G Webs, you're a hell of a guy. You really are, man. And I do appreciate you and everything that you do. 762 for 15 minutes. Ha ha ha. I seen what you did there, G. I seen what you did there. But yeah, guys, if anybody that's listening to this show now or in the future, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, go back and look up G Webs. If YouTube is still a thing, if you can find G Webs' videos, go look him up, listen to what he had to say. It'll make sense. I will guarantee it.
We should mention that G-Webs is short for gun websites.
Yes, gun websites. That's just a habit I got, man.
Oh, I know. Same here. But as
Yeah,
soon as you said, hey, go check them out, I'm like, well, if they just punch in G-Webs to
yeah, because
the
nothing will
search,
pop
I don't
up.
know how much is going to come up.
Yeah, he needs to make another account that just says G Webs and leave it at that. Um, uh, oh yeah, there's a lot of guys out there, G. It's just that I see you trying new things in different ways. I've seen what gun channels did when it was still a thing. Um, it brought people together that wouldn't normally have had a place to come together. I would love to see some iteration of gun channels come back. You know, think about this. I got on the gun channels website a bit late in the game. But when I showed up, the guys that were there was Sean Connery. Matt was on there. Never Enough Ammo for those who wonder who's Matt is. Midnight Range TM, Ghost Tactical, Clover Tech. Some of these guys have now got pretty good sized channels. Gizzard Gary was actually the first person I talked to when I went to gun channels. And there's a host of others. And I consider these guys family. I really, truly do. I've never met most of them. But I consider them family. Day or night, any of them call me, I'd be on the phone talking to them. Don't care. 2:00 in the morning, Gary has a problem. He wants to talk. That phone rings. I'm on the phone talking to Gary. Period. Work be damned. I'll go to work sleepy. But that was the thing. It was a place for us to come together and talk and push out new ideas. We got ideas for different types of video, different types of content. It was G Webs that said, "Hey, look, you should do something different, like the interview thing." G Webs is the main reason I started doing the interview. I ran it by him. He said, "You know what? That's a good idea. Do that." And that's what I did. So, good night, man. You have a good night, sir. I'm not looking back. I had to take a hiatus for a little while, but I'm back now, hopefully for good. But G, I know you're working on other things. I would love to see a new iteration, a new version of gun channels come back and be bigger and better than it was before. Guns, was you around for gun channels?
Honestly, that might be one of my biggest faux pas as far as anything 2A goes. I started off listening to Yankee, probably about 7 years ago when I started driving truck. Because I was tired of listening to the same thing, on the radio all the time, and I just needed something different. So I started listening to just different podcasts and stuff that I could find on YouTube, and then I stumbled on the Yankee, which got me into Never Enough Ammo and G Webs, and I'd always hear about gun channels. But I'm going down the road. I'm not really paying attention a whole lot. I'm paying attention enough, and I'd hear about gun channels, but at the end of the night, that was the furthest thing from my mind. It was getting a bite to eat, going and relieving myself, and catching some shut eye before I had to unload in the morning. And it wasn't until about 6 months before G Web shut gun channels down that I finally realized, oh, this is an actual website that I can go to, and there's this whole community and stuff. And even then, I wasn't real active in anything. I was one of the wallflowers. So, yeah, I was only there in like the last 6 months and before G Web shut it down. But then, like a lot of things, I make a mental note. I need to do this, and eventually I'm going to get to it. But I'm not the greatest at remembering to. So, I occasionally hear something like about Daily Gun Show or something, and I never check it out. Well, I finally became a patron of G Webs, and the one night I get a email from Patreon saying G Web sent you a message, and I thought it was just one of those patron only chats that people do. So I click on it, and it says this and this, and next thing I know, it lights up blue, and because it's StreamYard, and it's like, you're in the show. I'm like, what the frick just happened? And G Web was like, hey, how's it going? Who are you? And that really kind of what got Guns and Barbecue started. After jumping in the show like 4 or 5 times, G-Webs was like, you should make a channel. I was like, yeah, I should do that. I was like, how the heck would I do that? So, I went and got a hold of Patriot in the dark because I didn't have the slightest clue on how to go about it, with my visual impairments and whatnot. So, uh, Patriot gets a lot of credit just for the information he gave me on what he uses to do his channel. But if it wasn't for G-Webs, I wouldn't be doing any of this right now, I don't think.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. I had a lot of help in the beginning from guys like Ghost and Clover. And for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, it's Ghost Tactical on YouTube, Clover Tech on YouTube. Uh, they're also on Facebook, Instagram, so is G-Webs, gun websites. I have to remember to pronounce these full names because people aren't going to know who I'm talking about. Cycle Camp was another one. If you like old military guns, Cycle Camp is just a great resource to listen to. Um, Amazing guy. If you're into reloading or cars, Sean Connery is a resource that's absolutely wonderful. Uh, General gun information. Travis P11 is good. Midnight Range is good. Ghost or Clover. Um, there's just so many different aspects of the firearm world that gun websites covered, and not just that. I mean, there was guys like Mr. Knives that in his situation, he lived in an area where getting firearms was almost an impossibility for him. But as the name suggested, Mr. Knives, he liked knives as well, so he could do a little bit there. Um, and God bless Mr. Knives every day, just about. I think there was a couple he may have missed out on, but generally every day he would have a chat going from about 10 o'clock in the morning to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And this was daily. And if it wasn't him that was running it, it was Sean Connery. Um, and they would do this every single day. And back then, the way you would do this was you pretty much had to have a laptop or a computer, and you would hook the laptop in through Google Hangouts, and then you get the link from Google Hangouts and post it into, or the link from YouTube, post into Google Hangouts or something. And then you take all that and put it on the gun channel's website on your particular page, and it would show up. And it was great, man. It was great. I could see all the live chat from the YouTube side or from the gun website side. So I was looking at two different chat panels at once. Um, that was what Gun Channels was, a collaboration of projects, and still is. We just don't pay for a giant website. Also, yeah, I agree, Webs. I agree. Um, I think that is something that a lot of us guys that started off of gun websites truly miss, was the fact that we could go in, jump into a chat at any time of day because it was always there, and for 6 hours, if we wanted to, sit in there and talk about guns, politics, whatever crossed our minds, you know, and it was great. We weren't limited to just one ideology or one thought process. We all had different ideas, different opinions. We'd shoot ideas back and forth. We'd have arguments about certain aspects, you know. Um, But in the end, we were all friends. We may disagree on certain aspects of certain things, but we didn't let that, get in the way of the important thing, which was supporting the Second Amendment. And in all of its forms. Because believe it or not, folks, the Second Amendment just is not about the firearms itself. It's about it's about the ammunition. It's about, the barrels you put on the guns. It's about the stocks you put on the guns. You know, it's all of these things. The triggers. It's all covered under the Second Amendment. And if we're going to protect one part of it, we have to protect it all. Let's see, who is this? Hello, Tim. How are you, sir? Let's see. Chat. Hi, I'm doing good. Tim, do you have a mic? Um, Guns and Barbecue, what's going on with you, man? You've been quiet for a while. I know I've been running off the mouth.
Oh no, you're good. I'm just enjoying listening. Uh,
Uh,
like I said, unfortunately I was only around for like the last 6 months or so of
Can you hear me?
gun channels. Yeah,
yeah, Tim. Hold on a minute, Guns. Mute up for a minute, Tim. Hit the mute button. I'll get to you in a minute, Bubba. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, Guns.
no, I was just saying, I was only around for that last 6 months or so, and I wasn't really involved. Like I said, I was playing the wallflower with it, mainly because I didn't have a whole lot to say. I think that was part of the issue, but yeah. So when people start talking about gun channels, uh, it's interesting to hear all the stories and people reminiscing on this thing or that thing that might have happened, and who had the better chats, and it's really cool to hear all of it. And the community that was really built there.
Oh, and it was a community. There is no doubt. We were very close with each other. Um, we laughed together. We cried together. We got pissed off together, and we enjoyed good times together. It was a family. I consider some of those guys brothers, even though I've never laid eyes on them in person. That being said, I'm going to say this. Tim, welcome to the show, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am absolutely fantastic, sir. Tell us something about yourself, Tim. Well,
I think
that
you
was
might have
quick.
hit a wrong button. If you're still out there,
Yeah,
Tim, jump back in.
yeah, we'd love to have you, Bo. We ain't gonna run it for much longer tonight, but if you got something to say, we're gonna give you the box and let you say what you got to say. Um, yeah, I would love to see gun channels come back in some way, shape, form, or fashion on its own website again. But to me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. That would be wonderful because I spent a lot of time on there just hanging out, and I do what you did. A lot of times I just sit back and listen. I'd never say a word, but hey, here's one.
What's up?
You are late, sir.
For a very important date.
Yeah, if it was an important date and you missed it, you
Oh.
stood me up.
No, I didn't stood you up.
You stood me up. So now you owe me another dinner.
All right.
Yeah, chicken.
We can do that.
Yeah, chicken. I
You gonna be
definitely want
some
chicken.
gizzards? Need some
No,
gizzards, man.
no. I want barbecue chicken.
Now that does sound good. I know just the place, but it's a long ways from here.
That's fine. How you doing, Gary?
No, fairly good, I reckon.
It's amazing that you're showing up right at the end of the show. That was good timing.
Okay.
Well, that's okay though. Apparently, the first 10 minutes of the show, I was talking and nobody could understand what I was saying. It was all robotic.
Oh,
So,
I thought maybe
so you
you're
really didn't miss nothing.
speaking a foreign language like West Virginia or something like that.
I was telling them a story about you earlier.
Okay. What about me?
Yeah,
Was it true?
about yeah. I was telling them about you was the first person I really had a conversation with over on gun channels when it was a thing.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, so do I.
It's only a little over 3 years ago.
Yep.
It's hard to believe. Yeah, it's been 3 years we've known all these people.
Longer than that. It's been a little over 3 years, but
You, Midnight Range, and let's see, RL,
RL, Ghost Tactical, Clover Tech,
Mr. Knives.
Sean Connery.
Yeah,
Yep. There was a bunch of us.
we'd meet up in forums and talk.
Gunpowder was over there.
Oh, yeah.
Tardot. So, and most of the people that's probably going to be listening to this 10 years from now, when this video has a total of 15 views in 10 years, they're going to be wondering who these people are.
You'd probably be wondering who we are.
Oh, they'll know who you are because you're like internet famous now. You're big time.
Yeah, I'm famous.
You are. You are big time, my man.
Almost got 900 subs.
That's what I'm saying. Look at you. You need to send something my way.
Well, you get people like Mr. Gunsnob.
Excuse me.
Gunsnob used to be just a little bigger than me. Now he's got 15,000 subs.
Yeah, but Gunsnob cheats.
He must.
Yeah, he cheats. He's got his wife out there beating people over the head to get them to watch his show. So.
Well, there could be some truth to that.
It's all the cattle he's raising. Let's say they just make fake accounts for the cows.
I mean, honestly, would you really want to make his wife mad? She shoots better than he does.
Well, she already told me she
I've met his wife many times, and yeah, I wouldn't want her mad at me.
Exactly. So there's certain people in this world you don't want to piss off. She's one of them.
George Cortez is saying hi. Hi, George.
Well, that's because they love you, Gary.
Hola, mi amigo.
And something is going on with my phone. Oh, there you go. I was locked up there for a minute. So,
Yep, G Webbs is right. So plenty of folks still consider themselves gun channels, folks.
I still do me. Yeah, that.
There may not be a website out there, but there's always gun channels. That's where we met. That's where we come together, and still proud to have the G patches and all that stuff.
I've got mine. I've got one on my safe right over there in the corner.
Every time we meet, I'm sure you and I will meet someday, and we'll take a picture with the G's in our hands and all that stuff. That's tradition.
Well, no, the G that I had is now glued to my safe.
Don't worry about it. I always bring extras whenever I travel.
Well, I appreciate that.
The last time when I went to Vegas. I ended up giving mine to what's his name? Bloke's 2 Cents. That guy from England.
Do you know what my prized possession is?
What's that?
It was a cartoon action figure drawing G made of the Outlaw Hatfield.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I absolutely love that thing.
And I have this plastic shelf, one of them Walmart plastic shelves that you put together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Next to my desk, and I put some patches on one of the corners of it because I just needed a place to put, or not stickers, I mean. I just needed a place to put stickers where I could see them. And one of them is this picture of Outlaw Hatfield superimposed over a map of South Carolina.
I don't think I've seen that one, Gary.
Well, let's take a picture of it real quick and you'll see it.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You've never seen your featured sticker, huh?
No, I didn't even know there was such a thing until just now.
Okay, so let's get this and blow it up a little bit. Let's see. How about hitting edit? We'll make it a little bigger. No. Square. There we go. And done. Transfer it to my Mac. Now,
listen at you getting all fancy with a Mac computer.
Mac attack.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
it's a subpar system, but it's okay, I guess.
Let me share my screen.
Okay. Let's see here. There we go.
Other one.
Other one.
Yeah, there's two kids or Gary's down there. One of them's the screen I shared with you.
Oh, that one. Add the screen. There we go.
There it is.
Oh, that is cool. I had never seen that before.
That's one of my prized possessions, man.
I have never seen that before. Who made that?
Yeah, G-Webs did.
Gee, that's good, man. I like that one almost as much as I like the action figure. Wow.
Looks like
Yeah, I have never seen that before.
He got you a nice rifle.
It looks like a shotgun, Gary.
You think it's a shot? Is it a shotgun? Okay.
It looks like a shotgun, Gary.
If you say so, then it's a shotgun.
But if you want to call a shotgun a rifle, hey, it's totally up to you.
Oh, he did share something else. Let's see. Let me get the hold of this and put it on the screen for you. Let me close this one. Then I'm going to share another screen with you.
You know, like I said, I didn't know that existed until like just now.
Okay, share this other screen now.
Add to screen. Full screen layout. That is me on a speeder. I like that.
The Outlaw Hatfield got a sweet speeder bike. That is 121 weeks. September the 2nd of 2018. That's been out there.
I like that. That is cool stuff, guys. See there, G-Webs, you should sell that stuff and make yourself a fortune. Off of this mug, you can't go wrong. I mean, you really can't.
What I don't know is if I have another one of them stickers or not. I have a bunch. No. Wow. Let's see. back here to StreamYard and let's see, stop presenting. Get rid of that. There we go. You can go back to your regular screen now. But see, you was famous and you didn't even know it.
I did not know it. I'm going to start charging people for my autograph now. Mr. Knives, we was talking about you earlier, sir. How are you?
Yeah, we just mentioned you.
See, all the old timers are coming back. Knives is probably the oldest of the bunch of us.
They never really went away.
Chocolate. I'm going to have to get Mr. Knives on one of these chats one night.
He does actually exist.
Oh, I know. I knew Mr. Knives before he was famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back when he was just a young turtle.
Yep.
Knives commented on one of my videos the other day, and I was happier than a pig in shit. I was like, holy cow, I didn't even know Knives was subscribed to me.
And if he follows you on Twitter, he will share your post more often than not, too. He's real good about doing that.
Knives is a great guy. He really is.
Yep.
He's my buddy. He's always been my buddy. Angelina.
Oh, my God. Talk about a blast from the past. Yeah.
Yeah, see here, all the strangers are showing up.
All your rowdy friends are coming out tonight.
Yeah, every one of them.
Wonder
another Gun Channels alumni.
Instagram post.
I'm still waiting on Angelina to make some patches of me. You know. I'm sure it'll happen one of these days. Or stickers. Between her and G-Webs. Somebody left to lock off your cage. That's fine, Angelina. It was probably safer to keep you out of the cage.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But,
what all stickers I got? Well, there's me some, I can't say the name, but stickers I didn't know I still had.
You can't say what name?
It starts with a P. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
It's a place where you can buy stuff out here. Actually, I've bought stuff there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to mention that one. No.
But I have 2 of their stickers. I used to give them away every week. I run out. And then I found 2 more just now. So.
The poultry barn.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we welcome at this time the one, the only, the Night Strike One.
Hey, Ellis, how's it going?
The one who strikes at night.
The one who strikes at night has made himself known.
Yep.
I'm good, Bubba. How are you?
I'm doing good. Did you have a Merry Christmas and whatnot?
I had an interesting Christmas.
Well,
I wouldn't say it was merry. I'd say it was interesting.
Well, interesting is better than sad, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Didn't get married, did you?
God, no. You think I've lost my mind?
I was hoping not.
He learned his lesson from the last time.
Good Lord.
I actually have, since Angelina's out there, I actually have 2 intentionally left blank stickers.
I just found one the other day that I had.
And I've got at least one of the patches around here somewhere.
I had one of those alligator patches, too.
Yeah, you guys show up. You guys show up when I'm about to get off here. That was really nice of you.
Well, We
Oh,
we just want to hang out with you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
some
So,
people
Night Shark,
wonder.
I do have a question for you. I'm glad you are here, sir.
Okay, hit me.
You don't want me to do that,
Well,
but I'm going to ask you a question.
metaphorically speaking.
Um, let's try to get us together another South Carolina gun rally this year.
You want to?
I do, and this
Well,
time I want to
let's
do it.
actually take longer than 3 or 4 days to put it together because
Hey,
I was on a time crunch.
yeah, well, we did what we could, man, and I told everybody I ran across, every gun shop in the area knew about it. So it wasn't like the word wasn't out.
Right. You know.
So people didn't show up because people just didn't want to show up.
Right.
But yeah, I think sometime this year, let's do it in the summer
Okay.
or late spring, somewhere in that area. That way we don't have to worry about freezing our butts off.
All we have to do is just get people to get together. This time, if we do it, I want to we need someone that can loan us or can bring along some equipment like speakers, a microphone,
Yep, I agree.
and a podium. That's all we need. That, and also we need to let everyone know instead of just just whoever we were talking to before.
Well, we were on a timestamp. We were on a crunch
we didn't
last
do it
time.
right. We didn't do it right. Now, and I had never organized anything, but now I know how to fill out all the government paperwork to reserve the spot. So I can fill it out now.
Like I said, I'd like to do it again.
All right.
Get the ball rolling. And if we could do it somewhere other than the Capitol Yard, would be great.
That somewhere other than the Capitol Yard would be great. The issue is that's going to either require money or volunteers.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if we have to do it at the Capitol, we will. I would prefer not to.
I would prefer not to as well, but again, we need to see if anybody would be willing to sponsor this kind of rally.
Yep.
So.
But we'll put our heads together later on. We'll talk about it more in detail. But I would really like to get something going. In fact, to tell you what I'll do is I'll get a hold of Such and see if he can't help us out a little bit. And I got some other contacts I can maybe get some help with.
I mean, I can call or email Such too. So.
Yeah, Coy.
And we need to talk to Coy. AWAG's down here now too, so we need to get AWAG on board.
Yeah.
Me and him have been doing a lot of backyard shooting hijinks. I got a couple of videos I got to do. I got to release because I've got one I've got to release called Signanigans. Because he brought his 226 over and I was playing with my 229 and it's like, hey, check out this magazine.
Yeah. Stop bragging about your SIGs.
Yeah, hey, I didn't buy a Glock. You told me not to buy a Glock. In all caps, in all caps on the text message, I might add.
Yes, I did.
And now Ellis is going to buy one.
Yep.
I'm going to buy a Glock. I will never shoot the damn thing. It'll sit in a safe until the day I die. And it will never have a round put through it.
So you're going to be a Glock collector.
Famous last words.
No. As long as CZ makes a gun, I will never shoot a Glock. I promise you that.
I don't. The only thing I want is the what is it, the dagger. That's the only one I want.
Nah, good luck.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And that's all we're gonna say on that.
All I can say is I've seen one. it was nice.
I've seen two. It is nice, but they weren't for sale.
I seen the one that was at SHOT Show. I actually held it.
Um, but you need to get a Glock 19, Ellis. I'm going to get some kind of Glock. I don't know what.
Get a 17.
I agree. You should get a 19. Everybody ought to start with a 19.
Go old school. Get 17.
Even Black Cat Outdoors has a Glock 19.
I will get a 42. How about that?
Oh,
I got one of them too.
I'll just get a Glock 42 and call it a day.
I'm going to have to disown you, aren't I?
I'll get a Glock 42, put it in the safe. It'll never come out.
Yeah.
Don't
Never
worry.
even know it's there.
I don't own a Glock either. Never have. Never will.
A man after my own heart. But Night Strike.
What's up?
The next polymer handgun I buy is going to be a 320.
Hey, I love my 320, man. I love it to death. Thank you.
Yes, but I'm getting mine in a real caliber.
I got two of them.
What? So 357.6 not a real caliber?
No, you bought yours in a 40. You might have bought a 357 SIG barrel to put in it.
I swapped it out.
40.
It was a 40, but I swapped it out for 357 SIG, and I've not gone back unless I want to shoot cheap ammo.
Yeah.
You're going
but yeah, the one I'm going to buy will be a 45.
Oh, you got to get the 45,
yeah.
You know, I mentioned this before, and when we were talking on Facebook, but you need to come over. You need to come over one of these days and shoot the Grand. You'd love that thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's my new favorite rifle.
And you need to video this too, so you could get some channel content.
I've got video of me and AWAG shooting the Grand too. So I've got
there's videos out there of me and Night Strike shooting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think I'd like the Grand because they say it's so heavy. But I picked that thing up. The wood is wonderful. It feels so nice shooting it. You really should try it out.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will give it a shot one of these days if I can ever manage to get back out to Walterboro.
Yeah.
But we shall see. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are calling this thing done for the night. I have to be up for work in the morning. So, that means bedtime. I'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you guys out there that's listening tonight. Gary, Guns, Night Strike, thank you each for being here. Night Strike, you got anything you want to plug, anything you want to say, anything you want to get off your chest, anything you want to admit to, like a certain blue dress, perhaps?
No, shall not be infringed. That's all I got.
So you're going to leave the whole blue dress thing alone?
For now, I'll tell you off.
No. Gary, do you have anything to say?
Well, besides saying hi to Ghost Tactical, who just popped into the chat, let's see. Should have a video coming out this week, so look for that. We're getting darn close to 900 subs, so thank you, everybody. Foul Territory should resume. We took a week off because it fell on Christmas Day, but we're going to do one on New Year's Day, so that'll be Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And then the early bird chat for you Sunday morning early birds, that's at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. So thank you for having me, Dr. Hatfield.
Yeah, let's get on camera. I got to kick Knight in the nuts. I'm on camera. And you can kick Night Strike in the nuts if you want to. I don't care.
I don't think I wouldn't like that. Please don't do that, Knives.
Ghost Tactical, you're late, Bubba, but I'm glad to see you. I hope you've had a wonderful day. Oh, and one more thing. Ghost, thank you for that little conversation we had over the phone a couple weeks ago. That was good information. Guns and Barbecue, you got anything to plug?
You know what? We were doing a whole lot of talking about G Webs tonight. So go over to Gear Websites, check out the store, pick up something good there. Also, you could say shilling, go over to guntube.org. Check out the store. Night Strike's got some patches, and I think he's still got some GunTube lube, CLP that he's selling there. Support people that are putting out two-way content. Then I've got my YouTube channel that I'm doing a bunch of stuff on all the time.
Ghost, Bubba, this finger's for you. Anyway, I love each and every one of you guys. I hope you all have a good and safe and wonderful new year. Keep it classy, guys. Don't do anything stupid. Keep them firearms pointed in a safe direction if you're planning on shooting. I know back home people still get out there in the middle of the night on New Year's and start shooting off rounds into the air. Not exactly the smartest thing to do, in my opinion. Y'all be safe. Y'all be careful. Take care of your families. I love you. God bless you. We'll see you next week.
Give them the bird.